Hi everyone, thank you for joining me. I have an adorable card featuring Spellbinder's Clear Stamp and Die of the Month. Pocket Bunny stamp set has 3 really sweet images. This card will feature just one of them. When I saw this cute bunny sitting in a pocket, I knew that I wanted to recreate denim fabric. I'm going to be working with acrylic paints, 2 shades of blue and white. You want lots of texture, so a nice stiff acrylic brush works best. Stiff bristled brushes tend to be the cheapest, so that's a bonus. Quite a few layers of paint will be applied. I'll be starting off with a flat brush, that is the brush with a square end, and then switching over to a fan brush. A base coat of white paint, not overworking it so that there's lots of texture, is applied to an oversized panel of Bristol Smooth cardstock. Now I'll move on to a mid-tone blue called Heartland. After applying the paint in one direction, I'll go back and repaint it with a very small amount of paint going in the other direction. This is called a crosshatch. I started off by painting half of the panel. Now I'll go ahead and complete it following the very same procedure, applying the paint in one direction and then going back with just a little bit of paint and going over it in the other direction. As you can see, I don't worry about getting complete coverage. Worn denim has that patchy, faded look, which I'm trying to achieve. I've now switched over to a fan brush. I'm applying my darkest blue, which is called French blue. The same procedure is followed as working with the flat brush. The paint is applied first in one direction and then back in the other direction. All of the layers of paint that I'm applying using the fan brush is with fairly light pressure. A number of layers of the dark blue paint are applied in both directions, and then I switch over to the white paint. There's no recipe for this. You just keep applying the paint until you've got the look that you want. When I began, I made sure that my Bristol Smooth cardstock panel was going to be large enough to get my card front out of it, plus stamp one of the bunnies and the sentiment. I also made sure that it was large enough so that I would have a little bit of flex room so I could cut out my areas from those that looked the best. I've lightened up my panel quite a bit, so now I'm just going to go over it one more time with the dark blue paint in both directions, creating that crosshatch look. When the panel is dry, I use one of the dies from A2 Matting Basics to cut out my card front. There's enough left over that I can stamp the pocket of the bunny onto the denim look paper with Versamark ink, and I'm going to cover it with white embossing powder. Although I'm going to be layering the bunny on top of the pocket, I don't want any of those white embossed lines of the paws to show, so I just use a soft paintbrush to knock off that powder. The bunny is stamped again on white cardstock using VersaFine ink, and then I clear emboss it. After the bunny has been Copic colored very simply, and I'll have the colors listed on my blog, I then use the coordinating die to cut it out. The die is also used to cut the pocket on the denim look paper. After the pocket has been fussy cut from the main bunny image, the bunny is adhered to the pocket. Using a ruler and a white gel pen, I go around the perimeter of the card front and apply some stitching lines. The card front is quite a bit smaller than the A2 size card base, so I adhere it right to the center of the panel. To add just a touch of dimension, the coordinating dies for both the bunny and the sentiment were used to cut white sheet foam. And to finish up this cute card, I used some glossy accents on the bunny's eye. And that completes this fun card featuring faux denim painting for Spellbinder's Pocket Bunny Clear Stamp and Die of the Month. I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, I appreciate your visit.